Merry meet and welcome to Psalmic Saturday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga, and we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch. Happy Saturday, everybody. Moderating today on YouTube are the lovely Honeypaw and the lovely Vanessa, and moderating on Twitch is the lovely Dre. Thank you so much, moderators. And thank you so much to everybody for joining us today for the Psalm Spell of the Week. Just a program note, I'm going on vacation, so we will miss the next 3 Saturdays. So I won't be back for about a month. So hopefully somebody comes back when I come back. That's a long time to be gone. But I'm going to do my best to have at least a few uploads scheduled for while I'm gone, so the channel isn't completely dark. Anyway, we do have a premiere today right after this psalm spell, and I have done it right, I think, so that you can just stay right through the exit music and get the link to the premiere. So I think I did it right. I think I've got that down. But you can also just go search for it on my channel as well. Supposedly, if you have all the notifications, if you've pressed the notification bell, it'll tell you when the premiere has started, but some people say it's not working, so I don't know. That's why I did it, so that you can just follow it through to the end of the exit music and get to the link for the premiere, should you want to join us. And I hope you do join us, because we have a good time at the premiere. And again, that's starting at 11 a.m. Pacific time in just 40 minutes from now. Like I said, we'll be gone for a few weeks, so I will be sending out an email about that. If you're not getting our emails, you can sign up by going to our website, arielscorner.com, and you'll see on the footer of every page, there's a place to sign up for emails. And you can also see all of our social media links, including our Discord server and our private Facebook group, and that's how you can be part of our community as well, should you decide that you want to chat with other people. Speaking of chats, we have chat threads open on each of these streams. Please chat amongst yourselves. You're not disrupting anything at all when you chat, so it doesn't even have to be about what we're talking about. Enjoy the chat. And if you have a question for me, you can put it right in the chat thread, and provided I haven't gone over, I will take your question. Actually, I did have a question that came through email, and just a FYI, I don't really respond much to emails or DMs, because then what happens is all I'm doing is having one-on-one conversations and instruction, and I don't have time for anything else. So that's why. It's not because I don't like talking to you. It's just not, it doesn't end up working out so well for me if I do a lot of one-on-one instruction. So I don't tend to do that, but I will bring, if there's an interesting question, I will bring it online. And so I had a question about Psalms. Somebody asked me, what if I'm in a place where I can't do an incantation out loud and I want to do a psalm spell? What you can do is read it silently, but with your inner voice, rather than just kind of reading it passively. Actually recite it in your mind as if you're hearing a loud voice in your mind. And that's how you can use your inner magical voice. It's not quite the same as just reading it silently. You're reading it by hearing in your mind to the best of your ability. Don't worry if you're perfect at any of this stuff. Those words being, incanted in your mind. So that was a good question. All right. Enough of all of this. Let's get to it so I don't go over today. Today we are working Psalm 81. Psalm 81 is used for faith in all things good, to overcome temptation to transgress another, for protection from accidents, and to avoid making mistakes. And today I want to take it one step further. I want to take it to the point where we overcome the consequences of any mistakes, to have all of our mistakes corrected. So any errors that we have made recently or long in the past, we're going to work Psalm 81 so that the consequences of those mistakes are completely null and void. The way we work psalm magic is simple, easy, and effective. We take the psalm in question and we recite it out loud once, all the way through without stopping. This is called an incantation. Then we go back through that same psalm and we consider each verse in turn. And we search for hidden occult meanings that lie within each verse. We just do our very best with it. It doesn't matter if we think we're any good at this. Just the effort alone will bring results. Because what happens is as we uncover those hidden occult meanings, or as we call them magic seeds, we are in effect planting those magic seeds deep in the fertile grounds of our minds. And they do take root. They grow. They blossom forth, and then they bear fruit after their kind. And that's what we're going to do together right now with Psalm 81. Sing aloud unto God our strength. Make a joyful noise unto the God of Jacob. Take a psalm and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon, in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. For this was a statute for Israel, and a law for the God of Jacob. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony, when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. I removed his shoulder from the burden, his hands were delivered from the pots. Thou calledst in trouble, and I delivered thee. I answered thee in a secret place of thunder. I proved thee at the waters of Meribah, Selah. Hear, O my people, and I will testify unto thee, O Israel, if thou wilt hearken unto me. There shall no strange God be in thee, neither shalt thou worship any strange God. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. So I gave them up unto their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. O that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. I should soon have subdued their enemies, and turned my hand against their adversaries. The haters of Lord should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured forever. He should have fed them also with the finest of the wheat, and with honey out of the rock should I have satisfied thee. All right, so reminding ourselves what we're doing, we are undoing the consequences of any mistakes that we or others have made. So we are no longer beholden to any mistakes. Starting out with, sing aloud unto God our strength, make a joyful noise unto the God of Jacob. So this is one of those calls to celebration, calls to worship. And who are we calling? We are calling the congregation. And who's the congregation? All the thoughts in our mind. So we're asking ourselves to pull it together, basically, and focus on one thing, and that is to make a joyful noise unto the God of Jacob. Now, why do the Psalms ask us to make noise, whether it be singing, playing instruments, or crying? The Psalms do that in order for there to be change. We want some sort of change. That's the reason for increasing our vibration, and increasing the vibration is making a joyful noise. So we are increasing the joy vibration in order that a change happen in our lives. Take a psalm and bring hither the timbrel, the pleasant harp with the psaltery. So the psalm is something that we're doing with our mind and with our voice. The timbrel, harp, and psaltery are things that we're doing with our hands. So we are focusing all of our actions, mental, physical, and verbal, onto making a joyful noise. Everything is being focused on making things change. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. Now, this is a wonderful reminder to those of us who work in magical paths to use the tools that we have, to use the timings accordingly, to use our sabbats, to use our lunar phases, to use the magical tools that we've been given so that we can more easily work with our systems rather than against them. A lot of times in the Psalms, we are taking ourselves out of too much superstition. But this time it's saying, don't look at it as superstition, look at it as a method, a means by which you can allow for these things to occur much more easily. So we're going to work with the flow. We're going to work with the tides. We're going to work with our systems and our tools on the new moon at the time appointed on the solemn feast day. And anybody that studies magic knows what those things are for us. We have days of the week. We have times of the month. We have times of the year that are sacred to us, and those are there for a reason. For this was a statute for Israel and a law of the God of Jacob. Israel represents something to us. It's not a state. It's not a country out there. It's definitely not modern day Israel. It's not even ancient Israel in magic. It is a symbol for your soul. We cannot work the Psalms magically and think of anything within them, excuse me, as being something historic or something outside of ourselves. Each and every symbol within each and every psalm that we work must represent something within ourselves. Israel represents your soul. It is it's another way of saying Adam Kadmon. It's the divine androgyne in the tarot, in the world card. Is Isis. Ra, the god Ra. El means God. That's who you are. Your father, mother, God. You are male, female, holy. That's who you are. Male, female, and holy. So this was a statute for you. These things are given to you. All of our ways and means, the ways and means by which we can effect the change that we need have been given to us. And a law from the God of Jacob. Now, the God of Jacob is, if you think of who Jacob is in the history of the Bible, Jacob was the father to Joseph. And Jacob started out one way and ended up another way. Jacob went through a transformation. Jacob did a lot of growing. Jacob made a lot of mistakes. And what did God do with Jacob's mistakes? Said, don't worry about them. Don't worry about it. In fact, I'm going to initiate you, God said. You're not Jacob anymore. Now you're Israel. No, you are Israel. So I'm taking you out of your personality and putting you into your soul. And that's what the infinite's doing for us, because we are Jacob. So the God of Jacob is the God of us, who is disregarding our mistakes, disregarding our errors, and initiating us, saying, you are no longer Mary, you are no longer Sally, you are no longer Jonathan. You are Israel. You are your soul. This he ordained in Joseph for a testimony when he went through the land of Egypt. So in the story, the people of Israel were oppressed and they were in exile. They were enslaved. And Egypt was not a kind place for them. And Joseph, who was the son of Jacob, was able to interpret dreams, was able to vision himself out of situations. And it's through the power of imagination that this character was able to escape and to thrive and to do the wonders that he did. And so this is simply not so much about the story, but is reminding you of who you are and your power of imagination. Your power of imagination is a child of your soul. Your ability to imagine, your ability to see under the hood, to be able to interpret those dreams, so to speak, to be able to see the truth within the midst of the illusion. That's who you are, and that is one of your gifts. So it says that he ordained in Joseph for a testimony when he went out through the land of Egypt, where I heard a language that I understood not. So Joseph's able to translate concepts and ideas that are seemingly not understandable. And that's your power of intuition and your power of imagination. That's who you are as a mystic. That's who you are right now. You already have these abilities because the infinite gave you these abilities. I removed his shoulder from the burden. His hands were delivered from the pots. Now, this is an oracle speaking. The psalm has moved into an oracular moment here where we are hearing the words of the infinite. So I removed his shoulder from the burden. His hands were delivered from the pots. And that's what the infinite's doing for you. The reason why you're going through the trials and tribulations that you're going through that caused you to work this psalm are because you are reaping some sort of consequence from some sort of error or mistake that you or another has made. And the infinite is saying, yeah, but you don't need to do that. Let me take care of this for you. It's not my will that you be going through this. So I'm going to take the burden from you. Thou hadst called in trouble, and I delivered thee. I answered thee in the secret place of thunder. I proved thee at the waters of Meribah. So sometimes the Psalms will use past tense in order to speed up a manifestation. It's not so much what's going on here. This is actually asking you to think back. How many times have you been saved from a problem? Or how many times has something worked out for you when you didn't think there was any possible way? There are times in your life, if you are really honest with yourself, that you can see that this power has proven itself again and again to you. And so there is ultimately no reason for you to doubt it now, but it's asking you to hearken back. And it's hearkening back using a story in the Bible. When it says, I proved thee at the waters of Meribah, that's that place in the wilderness that has no water. And the story in the myth in the Bible is where Moses said, oh, you need water? Well, here. And rapped on it with his magic wand, and it started flowing with water. And that's what you can do. And not because, and Moses didn't do that because Moses was some sort of nifty person. It was that Moses was capable of allowing the infinite to work through Moses, just like any spiritual master does. Any spiritual master doesn't do anything. A spiritual master has things done through them. And whether it's Merlin, whether it's Moses, whether it's Morgan Le Fay, it doesn't matter. It all works the same way. And that's how it works for you. And because you're Moses in this. And anytime that something has worked out for you, it's because you hit the rock with your magic wand and it flowed with water. And that's the ability that you continue to have. You've always had it and you always will have it because that ability comes through you, not from you. Hear, O my people, I will testify unto thee, O Israel, if thou wilt hearken unto me. So, my people is how the infinite is addressing the people in this psalm continuously. My people, my people, my people. Notice that no matter how off the track the infinite's, quote, people are, as we go through this psalm, the infinite keeps saying, my people. In other words, there's nothing you can do to make the infinite stop loving you, stop owning you, stop being your source. You can't separate yourself from your source even when you try. No matter how hard you try, and no matter how hard we try to really create this perfect ego that can live all on its own, it doesn't matter because you are still my people, according to the infinite here. Now, my people, if we wanted to look at it as purely like we like to do, as everything in the psalm it has to do with you, my people not only represent who you are as a soul, but all of the thoughts that you were created with. Because remember who people are in the Psalms. Magically, people are thoughts. So all of the infinite's thoughts are still with you, even though you've added thoughts of your own that don't belong to the infinite. And those are the mistakes and the problems and the ego thoughts. So my people are all the thoughts you were created with. And not only that, but you are a thought in the mind of the infinite. And to the ego, that's like, oh, you're only a thought. Ugh, you're just a thought. But to the infinite, that means you're everything. that means you're all powerful. You are everything. Interesting, isn't it? I love these psalms. I love actually getting into them like this and just exploring them. We never can find all of these seeds, can we? Okay, hear my people, and I will testify unto thee, O Israel, if thou wilt hearken unto me. We already said that, but okay, so if thou wilt hearken unto me. So how do you hearken unto the infinite? It's telling you, listen. This psalm is all about listening. You don't have to do anything but listen. If you can calm down, shut your mind off, and listen, everything will be taken care of for you. You'll know exactly what to do, what to say, where to go, how to get there, how to get through any issue, any problem, no matter what it is. I mean, if you can hit a stone with your magic wand and you get water, anything's possible for you. But you have to listen. And that's the only way that you can hit a rock with a magic wand and have water come through it, is by listening to that inner guidance within you to tell you how to do that, rather than coming up with your own ideas, which will never bring water. You'll just be thirsty. There shall no strange God be in thee, neither shalt thou worship any strange god. Now, this one really upsets witches and neo-pagans, because it sounds like, oh, I see, now we have to be part of some Abrahamic religion where we worship some patriarchal deity. But remember, that's not magical. Perhaps a religion that uses these psalms might hear it that way, but that's not a magical psalmic working when you think of it like that. That's assuming that there are deities outside of you. That's assuming that there is an authoritarian deity that's outside of you that's going to either reward you or punish you. And that's not how we see things. We see things as the infinite here, the God, the Lord here of the Psalms, the Lord of the Psalms, represents for us the source of all that is, and we are an extension of that in a similar way to the sunbeam being an extension of the sun, and that we can never be separate. And to say that there's only one is even too limiting. There is only God. There is only the Lord. There is only this source. It's pre-gender. It's not like a patriarchal deity, but it's also not a matriarchal deity. It's in everything. It's in all that is. It's the force. And when it says that there shall be no strange gods in thee, and you shall not worship any strange god, all that's saying is you're not going to divide yourself anymore. You're not going to say, well, it's great for me to be an extension of the infinite, except for I need to go and get this. I need to go and do that. And that, because then all of a sudden, money becomes the God rather than an extension of God. Money's fine if it's an extension of the infinite. But when you are seeking money as being the God, then that's a strange God. That's an idol. When you are seeking for your relationship in your marriage, that's the most important thing. That's more important than who you are as a soul. Then that's become your God. And anything, it doesn't matter what it is, even really nice, wonderful, beautiful, benign things, like becoming a parent, like having money, like starting a business, anything, no matter what it is, anything, good, bad, or indifferent, that you make a God for yourself that's not the source, makes you its slave. And you go right straight back to Egypt, and then you have to get out of it. Then you have to go through the whole process again of getting out of bondage, getting out of that being enslaved, being an enslaved people, which is what we already talked about, how we were in the psalm earlier. The history of that is that there was a release from bondage already, and that was one of the miracles of the infinite. And so since you've already been released from bondage after bondage after bondage, it's obvious that the infinite doesn't hold any grudges, but you could just short circuit the whole process altogether and not worship the strange gods to begin with. And that's all that it means. And a strange god in this sense has nothing to do with deities that you're using perhaps in religious ceremonies or path working on the tree of life or invoking in order to understand archetypes, all of the wonderful things that we do with deities in the craft and in magic. That's not what it's talking about, because we're not using those exercises, we're not using those rituals as a means, if we're smart, as a means to separate ourselves from the infinite. We're using them actually as a means to reconnect ourselves to the infinite. So it's really important that you don't get religious with the idea of no strange gods before thee, and understand it's a very practical thing. It means I'm not going to turn anything in my life into a god. I'm going to let everything in my life be an expression of my relationship with the infinite. I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt. Open thy mouth wide, and I will fill it. It's not a commandment of you better do this or you're in trouble, buddy. It's just good news. I'm here. I'm right here. Whether you need your mouth filled with food, nourishment, whether you need your mouth filled with what to say, whatever you need your mouth filled with, I'm here for you. I will do it. You don't have to worry about a thing. Not one thing. Just like I've done it for you before, I will do it for you again. I will continue doing it for you. But the basic tone of this psalm is, it's not that you can't keep coming to me to get rescued from the mistakes that you've made. Of course you can. But you can save yourself the bother by not making the mistakes again. And the way you don't make those mistakes again is you remember who your source is, what the source is, who you are, why you're here, and function as a soul, as a thriving soul, rather than some little ego that's always getting into trouble and always being afraid. But my people, again, my people, would not hearken to my voice, and Israel would none of me. And this is the lament of the infinite. And the infinite laments because the infinite's lonely when we are apart from the infinite. Now, of course, we can't truly be apart from the infinite, but it's not as much fun having your child always asleep as it is being able to interact with it. Right? So, of course, as a sleeping child, the infinite loves us infinitely. But it would be nice if we were awake and aware of who we are, why we're here, and that we could co-create. So it's sort of a lament, but my people would not hearken to my voice. They always keep falling back asleep, falling back asleep, falling back asleep. So I gave them up to their own heart's lust, and they walked in their own counsels. But that's not something that was done out of punishment. It was done out of love. I can't force you. I can't force you to remember who you are. I can't force you to be awake. I can't force you to do anything. But I'm here for you when you're ready. So all this suffering that you're going through, I don't want you to do that, but I have to let you do that. Because if I don't let you do that, then you don't have the freedom, which is the basis of our relationship, is that you're free. You can use your mind any way you want to. And so if you're going to conjure up problems and conjure up errors, I am absolutely going to deliver you from those when you ask. Oh, that my people had hearkened unto me, and Israel had walked in my ways. You didn't need to go through this. You didn't need to go through all of this, but that's fine. Now that you're remembering, I'm very happy to remove these mistakes. I'm very happy to fix it all for you. And I will always do that, no matter what. I should soon have subdued their enemies and turned my hand against their adversaries. Those are all the problems. Those are all the consequences. Had you come to me, rather than trying to fix it yourself and figuring it out all by yourself, you wouldn't have had to go through all that. I would have taken care of this. And I will take care of this. The haters of the Lord should have submitted themselves unto him, but their time should have endured forever. And all of this time that you've been experiencing all of these problems and wondering, where is the infinite when I need the infinite? It's all because of you using your mind in the way that you're using your mind. And when you decide to wake up and remember who you are and remember that I'm here for you, this is still the oracle speaking, then you can have the benefit of me healing you. But for the amount of time that you want to think all by yourself and do your own thing and conjure your own nightmares, so be it. It'll have to be that way. He should have fed them also with the finest of wheat, and with the honey of the rock should I have satisfied thee. All this time you could have been wealthy. All this time you could have been healthy. All this time you could have been happy. All of this time was just wasted. But the good news is that when you wake up, it's not going to be a problem. When you let me heal you, when you let me take care of this, all will be fine. All will be well. And you will be better for it. But the amount of time that it takes you to come to me and to allow me to change it for you and to allow me to heal it for you and to undo and correct your errors, the amount of time that it takes you to do that is the amount of time that you're going to suffer. And it's not because the infinite's will is for us to suffer, but it's the infinite's will that cause and effect and free will are always in effect. Those are the bottom lines of the universe. And so we can be delivered from and escape all of the consequences of those things, but we have to initiate that. We have to be willing. We have to be willing to, as it keeps saying in the psalm, listen, not start coming up with our own stuff all the time, but calm down and listen. And when we do that, we get the benefits of it. we get the correction that we are seeking. So you just come back to this psalm every day and work it like that until you get a sense of peace and certainty that what you came to the psalm for has been taken care of. It's just a general internal feeling of, oh, this feels good. I have absolute certainty that this is taken care of. Once you get that, it's like a click. That's an indication that you don't need to work this spell anymore. It's actually better if you forget all about it and move on to something else and let it manifest as it will. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Until next time, blessed be. Okay, let's see if we have any questions. Oh, okay. I have an off-topic question. I'm doing the Kabbalah course. I'm looking for correspondences regarding Sumerian gods and what path they might be. I don't know that I have all the Sumerian gods listed in there, but that's definitely something you'll probably want to research. I guess if you're on Discord, that's the place to probably start getting the help to compile all of that for you. I don't work with the Sumerian gods personally, so I don't have them in my notes that I'm aware of. I'll definitely check though, but bring it over to Discord. That's the best place for that. And I said I'm leaving on vacation soon, so I haven't been super duper active on Discord, but that doesn't mean that I won't be. Okay, question. Why is the 23rd Psalm the most popular? Well, it's one of the easiest ones to remember. It's very short. It's one of the contractual psalms, so it gets really great quick results. People like it because it tends to calm them down. It tends to get their minds focused very quickly onto what it needs to be, on what they need to be focused in order to get relief from a problem or whatever it is that they're coming to a psalm for. It's one of the most universally applicable psalms. Pretty much whatever you need can be found in that psalm. It's a wonderful psalm. So all of the contractual psalms are like that, though. There's 5 of them, and all 5 of those psalms are so universal that you could just use those and never look at another psalm and be fine. Just like you could use the book of Psalms and really never read the rest of the Bible and be fine. The good thing about reading the rest of the Bible is that it gives context to some of the stories so you can understand the symbols. But sometimes the Bible stories, if you have a lot of background in religion, it can tempt you to think outside of yourself, and it's not a magical way to work with anything, whether it's Psalms, Bibles, mythology, whatever you're working with. Magically, we want to relate everything to what's going on inside of us. Okay, great questions. Thank you so much for those. And we will be over on our premiere in about 7 or 8 minutes. So I hope that you join us there. Thank you so very, very much to the amazing moderators. Today we had the lovely Honeypaw, the lovely Vanessa, and the lovely Dre. And we'll see everybody over on our premiere. Blessed be.